How's it going, everybody? It is Dennis, and we're back with another video. And today, as always, it's the end of the month. We're going to be talking over how much income I made from dividends, from options, and what is the total amount for the month of June. And man, am I glad to say that June was a good month. If you guys don't already know, I love being transparent as possible. I have everything open up on my screen so you guys could go ahead and take a look, and we'll go ahead and look over all the transactions, all the dividends, and all of that sorts. And as well, if you guys did not know, the reason June was such a good month and why these months in the future will hopefully continue to be good months, because I have been approved for options level 3. Yes, I have been approved for options level 3, so we can finally begin to leverage our money or our cash a little bit better to go ahead and have greater returns. So we're gonna go ahead and take a quick look. As always, we have our sheet. We have all of our transactions in the background. Once again, being transparent as possible. So let's go ahead and start with the dividends. So for June, OHI, we did not receive a dividend. For Stag, we received a $4.01 dividend. For Maine, we received an $11.62 dividend. For APLY, so we're getting into YieldMax ETFs. And this is where we're going to get a little bit more descriptive as well. So for the YieldMax ETFs, we received $69.42 compared to May, where we got $55.06. And compared to previous months, as you can see, we have grown. Of course, that is because we began to do the new form of distribution that I do with my YieldMax ETFs, which is where I grab the TSLY and AMZY dividends, reinvest 50% of TSLY back into TSLY, and take the other 50% of the dividends from TSLY and 100% of AMZY's dividends and distribute it throughout all the other YieldMax ETFs like APLY, AMZY, YMAX, and so on. So we got $69.42. Of course, that comes with share growth, so it is to be expected. For TSLY, it was lower than previous months, and of course, that is probably the reason is because we had a jump in Tesla. We had a jump in Tesla, and we also had, I think, I forgot what it was in that moment, but I'm sure we had a drop, which of course makes sense. And I think they lowered the contracts they had, and then we had a huge jump, which of course would make sense for why we were not able to earn so much income. But once again, $223.24, not too shabby. It is lower than expected. I thought we would continue to have dividend growth with TSLY, but I guess we'll have to wait until July to see if they do continue to give us growth, with of course Tesla experiencing growth as well. But TSLY has also received returns. TSLY has returned a good amount of NAV back, or the share value has grown, so our average is going back up. We are growing back on TSLY. And we're actually out of the negative 3,000 mark. We're actually at negative 2,400, around like that, past the negative 30%. So we're trending back up with TSLY, of course, following Tesla. But once again, lower than expected. 235 in May, 227 in April, which is what I thought the low would be, but I guess not, because we got 223 for June. But we do have $193.68 from AMZY. And of course, it is lower than 197 in May, but it is higher than in April. And of course, this makes sense because we did in June, of course, continue to have the same amount of shares. And I guess the dividend dropped like a tad bit amount. But $193.68 is once again not too shabby. In July, we did increase more shares into AMZY. That is because, like I said, if the dividends do drop, or if my overall portfolio value drops below 10% of my portfolio on AMZY, I will then reinvest back into it. And that's what happened. AMZY went below the 10% portfolio value, and I added more in to go ahead and boost it up back above the 10%. So we're up a couple shares on AMZY. I think I added roughly 10 shares, but June's dividend income was $193.68. Luconi, we're not receiving dividends anymore, but I still keep it on the list because, of course, it is, we did receive dividends from it, and I do want to keep it on the chart just to be accurate. But with GOOY, we received $69.03, the highest dividends we've received so far. So it kind of makes up for the lackluster month of TSLY, because we did get $69.03. And once again, that is added with more shares, so it kind of makes sense. The dividend, I think dividends were increased as well, but the share count increased dramatically because I threw a little bit of my option cash into there, my option income into there, and I also put a lot of more shares into it with the distribution from the other YieldMax ETFs. And another one that's growing, and of course it's growing because I'm adding more shares, that is YMAX. YMAX, we're at $127.42 from YMAX. And of course, YMAX has been a great fund so far from YieldMax ETF. currently, as the date of this recording, it is experiencing a little bit in the negative sides. I think it's dipping below what it opened up when it was released. But currently it is standing stable. Of course, it's not on the uptrend like we were used to, but it's staying stable with share value. And for June, we received $127.42, and you already know all of it was reinvested back into YMAX, because I continue to grow YMAX up to the 10% portfolio diversity level. And once we get to that, then we'll begin to reinvest into other ETFs. Now moving on, HTGC did not pay us. HTGC, of course, is a quarterly paying dividend ETF, so it did not pay us. For SPHD, this one's a little bit funny, but they did not pay us just yet. I'm guessing the reason why is, oh, actually they did pay, but for some reason they paid for July. But we're not gonna count that. But they paid for July. I guess they didn't pay for some reason. I'm not sure. But yeah, no payment for SPHD for the month of June. So we're gonna go ahead and skip through that. For EFC, we received $11.93. Of course, this is another monthly paying ETF. It pays on a lower level, so it's not that high of a distribution as YieldMax ETFs. So I don't really like staying on them too much, but it is higher and it is growing, which is really good. For $17.77 received from DHS, and of course it is growing, it is getting higher, and that is because we're reinvesting more and more with the drip method. So it is working quite well. We're getting dividends, we're getting higher dividends, and it's working well. With SCHH, of course, again, no dividends from SCHH. I'm pretty sure I sold out of this. Oh, actually, no. My mistake. I sold out of SPHD. I didn't sell out of SCHH, but we have not received a dividend from SCHH because it is, of course, a quarterly paying ETF. But SPHD, we have sold out of. That's why we have not received a dividend of SPHD. This is actually a dividend from SCHH, is the one that was in July. So that is what the correct information is. RITM, no dividend from RITM, and of course that is because I didn't want to show you guys too much information down there. But RITM, there's no dividends from RITM because, once again, quarterly paying dividends. TSLL, no dividend from TSLL, but as you can see, we already have a confirmation of $49.53 from TSLL for the next month of July. So that's always great to hear. TSLL is paying us. That's going to go back into TSLL to lower my average cost per share, so we could do a little bit better trades with the contracts. But if you guys can see right here, the last ETF I have for my dividends, and this is the new addition to the ETFs that pay me dividends, and new stocks that pay me dividends, and that is QDTE. Yes, I've invested into weekly dividend ETFs, and I've made a video about it, my strategy for it, why I've started to buy QDTE, and you guys can check that out on the top right corner. And the reason I bought into it, just for a quick summary, is because I want weekly income that could compound on a weekly basis, and as well as give me some kind of boost to my option income on a weekly basis. Of course, first I'm going to get to 10% of my portfolio, and once I get to 10% of my portfolio diversity, then I'll begin to siphon that money into my option income. But that's going to take a little bit of a while, so we're not going to get there just yet. But QDTE, for the first month of owning it, has paid me $7.56. $7.56 that has been reinvested, and that is with only owning 9 shares. Of course, I did not own 9 shares in the beginning. I started adding a little bit by little, but at the end of the month, we have 9 shares that we're at $7.56, and I think that's pretty impressive. I have, like, I think 30-40 shares of Stag, and this roughly comes out to $1,000, which paid $4. I have Main, which I have like $1,500, and that's $11.62. So for a stock, we're only having 9 shares, which I'm pretty sure my total in is like $400 to $500, paying more than Stag and paying half of, or almost close to half of Main, is great. It's really great. I know the yield is not as high as the YieldMax ETFs. It doesn't pay 50% like TSLY, doesn't pay 50% like AMZY, or 35-40% like YMAX, but it pays roughly 25, I'm pretty sure 25 to 30% a year, which is good enough for me because there's weekly compounding effects. And we're going to be able to use it for option income or option trades once we get to 10% portfolio diversity. But now let's look at the magic number for dividends total income for the month of June, and that is $735.68. So we did make $10 less than last month. We made $10 less than May. We are still increasing though. We have more income, of course, than the previous month of $576, $618. We're at $735.68. As you can see, we already have the $49.53 for next month. So we're we already have that. But $735.68 is not too shabby. With not having HTGC, which is $55, with not having SPHG, of course, which is only $3, so it's not big of a thing. But we don't have HTGC's payment, and we still came out with $735.68. I think that's a great growth amount, especially since we're not getting one of our quarterly dividend ETFs. That means YieldMax has grown, and we've seen that. We've grown from 69 to 42 from APLY. 69.42 from 55.06 for APLY. We've grown to 69.03 from 46.75 from GOOY. And we're continuing to stay quite stable for TSLY and AMZY. So it's doing good. With the dividend side, we are seeing growth. We're growing. Of course, some of the ETFs don't pay at the same times as other ETFs, so sometimes it might seem a little bit lower, but overall, I can confirm that next month we will probably receive a higher dividend than what we saw in May. Now, that's dividends. Let's look at options. So let's go ahead and scroll down to option income. For option income, Riot is a little bit of a disappointment. Volatility is down on Riot, and therefore option premiums are down as well. I have lowered my cost for the contracts from I think I was at 16, then to 14, and now I am at $12 because I just want to exit the position. I am done with Riot. I have received all the income I can from Riot. I just want to leave. I'm done with crypto. I don't really want to stay in crypto for that long as other people do. I just want to get my money, give me my returns, and I want to leave. So I've lowered it down to $12 per contract, and we made $728. Of course, it is a little bit disappointing, but Riot has been trending at $9. As you guys could see, it's been at roughly $9, trending up and down. And I actually sold the contract around this mark. When it reached the $12 mark, $11 mark is when I rolled the contract, and I was able to receive my option income. We can actually go ahead and take a look at that. So let's go ahead and go down, and we can take a look at our history. As you can see, June 17th, and we did 2 rolls, so actually it was not that time. It was around here. So when it reached around $10.91 is when we rolled our position to August 2nd, and we were able to receive $728. Not too shabby, but of course lower than the previous months, so it is getting lower and lower and lower. But that makes sense because volatility of Riot is getting lower and lower and lower. Hopefully it changes, hopefully it swaps, hopefully it goes up and we get some more volatility in Riot, but that we will have to see. So far, I just want to leave, I just want to get out. But we have TSLY, which paid us $104. Once again, a little bit disappointing compared to the $122 from previous month and the $108 from before. But if you look at the next month, and this is like a sneak peek, I guess you could say, we earned $171. And that is because Tesla is going up, and therefore our premium is going up, and we're able to take better contracts and better trades. So $171 is what we're earning next month. So that's for next month. Let's go to TNA, which surprised a lot. So like I said, option level 3 trading, and that's where I'm going to go into TNA. TNA is going to be my option level 3 trading platform so far, or for now, and that's visible in my return. I made $273 from TNA. Before we even get to that TSL, I have to show you guys real quick the trades I did for TSL. So as you can see, I did rolls 75, 125, 46. That's how we got the income. I'm pretty sure this isn't old. Yeah, this is an old trade. This was for a previous thing, but 125, 46, and then that's how we came out to our total. But TNA is how we're making our income from now on, or we're going to slowly start growing. Well, not slowly, actually. Tomorrow, we're going to take some crazy trades tomorrow, or the day of this posting, Friday. We're going to take some crazy trades on TNA. We're going to do some synthetics. We're going to do what YieldMax ETF does and all these other ETFs do. We're going to do some synthetics. So we're going to do some synthetic trades, try and get more income out of TNA for less in cash amount. So it's going to be very interesting to see that. But yes, we made $273 from TNA. And of course, it might not sound so impressive, but going from $167 to $273, that's a $100 increase, $110 increase in a matter of, what was it, 2 weeks? I had 2 weeks option level 3 trading. 2 weeks of June, I had option level 3, and I was able to boost my income up to $273. So pretty impressive. And we're going to go ahead and take a look on how I did that, because this is, I think, pretty interesting. So you're going to see a lot of cancels, a lot of trades trying to be taken, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at beginning of June. We got $29 from a regular put roll. We got $48 from another put roll. And then we opened up this. This is a poor man covered call, and we went and opened it up for $1,097. to which we earned on that $1,097. I'm pretty sure we earned $25 is how much what the call contract was. Then we also opened up an iron condor, which earned us $21. You might be asking, how is it $21? Well, it's 26 minus how much I paid for it today, and which I bought it back for $5. So we made $21, and with $100 down, so 21% return in a week. Pretty impressive, I would have to say. And then we did another option order. This is, I'm pretty sure I rolled my call that I opened up on the poor man covered call. I rolled it out another week ahead and got $24. I then once again did a cash secure put roll, which I got $39. And then I opened up another short iron condor, which got me $42. And this one is still open, so this $42 is not confirmed. I'm probably going to buy it back for roughly the same amount of like $4. So $42 as of now, let's count it as that. But $42, which is roughly, once again, a 21% return because we put $200 as collateral, which is pretty good on a weekly basis, or actually really good on a weekly basis, of course, if it goes through all nice and dandy next week. And then, of course, the buyback for $5 that we did, which brought us to the $21 total. But overall, a great month for TNA, and a lot of more great months coming, I think, for TNA, because we're going to be putting a little bit more cash out of my pocket into TNA. We're going to go ahead and do some more synthetic poor man covered call trades, iron condors, all of that jazz. We're going to be doing a lot more of it. We're going to be seeing what returns we could get. Of course, the iron condor is a little bit risky. I don't want to go all into it. I want to probably do like $300, $400 collateral into TNA, into iron condors for TNA, and then everything else is just going to go into poor man covered calls, synthetics, cash secure puts, all that jazz. And of course, I'm going to make a video on that soon once I get a little bit down. I want to learn it myself first before I even show you guys what I'm doing. But TNA, once again, is going to be an impressive paying option income for next month, and you guys will see that. And I can't wait for you guys to see that and show you guys that of how much we make next month. But this month we made $273, which I'm very proud of. And that brought us to $1,105 compared to $1,182 from previously and $1,035 from before. So you can see TNA saved us this month. We got lower on TSLY, we got lower on Riot, but we still ended up similar price-wise of $1,105 on our total option income. Now, for the end of the video, let's look at where our grand amount was. What was our grand amount? How much did we earn in total for the month of June? You can probably calculate this by yourself right now, but $735.68 for dividend income and $1,105 for option income brings us to a total of $1,840.68 made for the month of June. Of course, it is lower than the previous month of May of $1,927.56, so that's because Riot gave us a great return last month, and we also got some great dividend return, only at $10 more, but still. So not too shabby, once again, for not having some dividends paying out for this month, and also having not a great return for Riot because of volatility issues. $1,840.68 is a great return in my book. And of course, it is higher than the previous month, so we are still experiencing growth compared to previous months of 1,611 and 1,753. We have growth. We're having new trades. We're having more leverage trades, which I guess is a little bit more risky, but we are growing. We're creating income, and I'm just ready for next month of July to see what I could do with options level 3 and what I could bring you guys with the information I'll learn from my own experience of running level 3 trading. Of course, there's going to be videos coming out on all the different trades types I do. Iron Condor, poor man covered call, synthetics, the same way YieldMax ETF does it. So if you have money to run these synthetics and you have some time to do so, I'll be teaching that as well. So whatever all the managers do at YieldMax ETF, I will teach you guys how to do that as well, because I think it's always great to know, even if you don't run it yourself, know how it works and see a demonstration, an example of someone doing it in their portfolio. So once again, thank you everybody so much for watching. That has been all the dividends paid. Here's all the dividends transactions. If you guys don't believe me, if you guys think the numbers are set up, but those are all the dividends transactions. That is how much I made for the month of June, $1,840.68. And I'm so glad that we're still growing, we're still going, and I can't wait for July, where we're going to have option level 3 trading income, and our dividends are probably going to be growing as well, because now we have a new friend in town. We have QDTE, which is paying us on a weekly basis with weekly compounding effects. So Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Once again, I can't wait to show you guys all the stuff I'm learning with options level 3, and hopefully you guys could learn as well. But that has been my portfolio for the month of June, and I'll see you guys next time in the next video in next week. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys later.